So today we witnessed the world said was impossible. After generations of bloodshed, President Trump stood before the Israeli Knesset and declared the end of the age of terror. And 20 hostages were returned from darkness, and the chamber erupted. Even his enemies admitted victory, but this wasn't just about ending a war. This was about a man who refused to accept that some conflicts are permanent. And what he said next sent shockwaves through capitals from Tehran to Damascus. And the entire Middle East is transforming before our eyes. And the establishment, they can't believe what they're seeing. This is bigger than politics. This is history being written right in front of us. So stay with us. So gold has gone mainstream, and you're seeing it everywhere, and prices keep climbing, and every day more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? How do you invest in a way that's safe, simple, and built for the long run? And that's where Noble Gold Investment comes in. And Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. Whether you're looking to roll over an old 401k into a gold IRA, or you want physical coins and bars delivered right to your home, Noble Gold makes the process simple, safe, and stress-free. You look at step-by-step guidance, transparent pricing, and U.S.-based service from a team that's handled over $2.5 billion in precious metal transactions. With Noble Gold Investments, protecting and growing your wealth isn't just their job, it's their commitment. So go ahead and visit nextnewsgold.com today to claim your free Wealth Protector Kit. That's nextnewsgold.com. Noble Gold, helping you build a stronger future. So when Trump stood at the podium in Israel, something shifted in the universe. The man who built skyscrapers decided to build peace, and he did it in a way that made the entire foreign policy establishment look like amateurs playing checkers while he played three-dimensional chess. So here's what happened. President Trump addressed the Knesset and said that the unthinkable. This is not only the end of a war, it is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith, hope, and God. And watch what happens next.
This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
I want you guys to get this. That's not political rhetoric. That's a man rewriting history with nothing but conviction and credibility. And the results speak louder than any speech. All 20 living Israeli hostages are officially home. Families collapsed in tears, children saying prayers. And get this, even Stephen A. Smith had to admit what everyone saw with their own eyes. Take a look.
There is no doubt that he has done more than practically almost any administration has tried to do when it comes to ending conflicts around the world. And he's put himself in a position where the political capital that he stands to gain isn't necessarily that great. So his willingness to do so is obviously something that shouldn't be ignored and something that should be, dare I say, applauded to some degree. Again, that doesn't mean I like everything he does. You and I can argue back and forth about a few things. But in the end, you are absolutely right when you point out that there's not much to gain for him in a lot of this, yet he engages anyway, and you have to give credit where credit is due.
So he said more than practically any administration. And that's from a guy who never gives Trump credit for anything. And that's how undeniable that this moment is. Now watch Trump map out the future. This isn't some vague peace process garbage that we've heard for decades. This is specific. Tel Aviv to Dubai, Jerusalem to Damascus, Haifa to Beirut. Commerce is replacing carnage. Listen to him paint the picture. It's beautiful. Take a look.
So now we're going to forge a future that is worthy of our heritage. We're going to build a legacy that all the people of this region can be proud of. New bonds of friendship, cooperation, and commerce will join Tel Aviv to Dubai, Haifa to Beirut, Jerusalem to Damascus, and from Israel to Egypt, from Saudi Arabia to Qatar, from India to Pakistan, from Indonesia to Iraq, from Syria to Bahrain, Turkey to Jordan, the United Arab Emirates to Oman, and Armenia to Azerbaijan, another war that I just settled. We are going to have hope, harmony, opportunity, and happiness here in the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's what you are. Israel America and all of the nations of the Middle East will soon be safer, stronger, greater, and more prosperous than ever before. And I want to thank you all once again for this exceptional honor. This has been truly an honor. It's seldom that a president is invited to do this. And I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger, better, stronger, and more loving than ever before. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the Middle East. Thank you, everybody. Good luck. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It was like he was giving a closing speech at one of his rallies, and these are world leaders that are there giving him the standing ovation that he deserves. And he said that the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's not hyperbole when you're standing in Jerusalem making it happen. And even MSNBC couldn't spin this. Their morning show aired a segment without Trump Derangement Syndrome. I don't remember the last time that's happened. And they called it what it is, a victory for President Trump and for civilized norms over brute force. Watch.
Yeah, so many questions remain as to whether Hamas will indeed demilitarize, will they give up their weapons. There's a lot of skepticism about that. John Meacham, as we await President Trump, we expect his remarks in the next little bit here, and we'll obviously keep watching the proceedings there in Jerusalem. Just your thoughts. It is a historic day. We don't know if it will be the first chapter of a longer story of peace for the Middle East. The president's trying to frame it that way. We simply don't know. But even just for what today means, give us your thoughts, your perspective.
It's a terrific day for the hostage families. It's a terrific day for President Trump, for our national interests. You're right, we don't know how the story ends, but stories are made up of chapters. As Richard Haas knows, he was very much in the arena now 35 years ago, at the end of the first Gulf War, when there was a great conference in Madrid as we tried to reset the peace process. 9 years later, President Clinton, in the last hours of his presidency, made a noble attempt at Camp David. We can go on and on about the various chapters, but we should make no mistake about this. This was a victory for President Trump and for those who wish that we can govern ourselves at home and around the world, not simply by brute force, but by ideas and civilized norms.
So John Meacham comparing it to the Madrid after the Gulf War, that's establishment speak for this is actually historic. And they went through that whole segment without saying, oh, this is going to fail in 20 minutes like they would normally do for Trump. It was incredible. And the Biden administration still tried to take credit for this. Their former officials went on TV saying this builds on their framework, really. So let's see how that talking point held up when CNN pressed Biden's Pentagon spokesperson. Watch this.
And I know the Biden administration on its way out tried to get to a deal. It did not. What do you think is the difference here in this moment that put the Trump team ahead?
Yeah, the framework that has been put into place in this 20-point plan that the Trump administration has implemented builds on the framework of the Biden administration.
Biden didn't even know what state he was in half the time. How could they even do an establishment pen or whatever that they're trying to do? Let's let them see how they can spin this away from Trump.
And of course, there are a few differences in the plan, but it was always a phase 1, 2, and 3 approach. First,
every peace deal is a phase 1, 2, and 3 approach for the history of peace deals. This lady, they're stretching this super thin.
Ceasefire. Then the second phase was a return of the hostages, and then the third phase was more on the governing and what does governance look like in Gaza. And there's some differences.
And that's still a question mark right now.
That is absolutely still a question.
So they said the Biden administration tried to get a deal. It did not. Truth has a funny way of breaking through spin, guys. And Trump himself explained why this moment matters just beyond today. He talked about the Arab and Muslim nations that helped pressure Hamas. And nobody expected these nations to jump in and do this. This wasn't just Israel versus terrorists anymore. This was civilization choosing peace. Watch this.
And let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free.
And that's something that no president has ever done before. They've got an entire coalition. Every country in the area is on board to stabilize and grow the region. It's incredible what they've done. Marco Rubio will go down as the greatest Secretary of State in history. Continue.
And to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect. And I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. And it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together.
Say that again. The golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. And when was the last time you heard those words spoken with like complete seriousness? The streets tell the real story. In Tel Aviv, they renamed the hostage square to Freed Square, and thousands of people chanted, "Thank you, Trump," in English and in Hebrew. Check this moment out. Watch.
Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump!
Celebrations still underway in what they're calling Freed Square now, no longer Hostage Square.
And this happened around the world. And that's not manufactured. That's raw gratitude from people who got their loved ones back. And then came the moment that will echo through history. Netanyahu didn't just thank Trump. He nominated him for the Israel Prize, their absolute highest honor, never given to a non-Israeli until now. Check this out.
Mr. President, thank you for all you have done for us. I have submitted your nomination to be the first non-Israeli recipient of the Israel Prize, Israel's highest award. As to that other prize, just a question of time, you'll get it. But I want you to get the Israel Prize, our highest award, to our greatest friend.
So tell me in the comments and in the chat, do you think Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize? I absolutely think he did. And Netanyahu even said it. As for that other prize, it's just a question of time. And even Netanyahu knows Nobel Prize is coming. But we're going to zoom out a little bit. This isn't just about hostages or ceasefire. Trump declared peace across the entire region. Watch him deliver the vision that has eluded every president since Israel's founding. Watch.
Today, for the first time anyone can remember, we have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to put the old feuds and bitter hatreds behind us. And that's why so many people in this room, they didn't get along. Some did, some didn't, but they're getting along now. This has brought the people together. This is the first time the Middle East crisis has brought people together as opposed to driving them apart. And to declare that our future will not be ruled by the fights of the generations past, which is foolish. So together, let us continue in the spirit of cooperation and goodwill that has finally brought us to this incredible, historic breakthrough. If we do together, we will reach the Middle East's incredible destiny, a safe and prosperous and beautiful crossroads of culture and commerce, faith in humanity and geographic center. This will be the geographic center of the world.
A safe and prosperous and beautiful crossroads of culture and commerce, faith and humanity. He's not talking about managing conflict. He's talking about ending it forever. And when Trump showed the world what the Middle East could become, he didn't use State Department jargon. He painted a picture so clear you could see it and watch his vision become reality. Take a look.
And with this week's ceasefire, we've achieved the most challenging breakthrough of them all. The most challenging breakthrough maybe ever. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I've been involved in a lot of success. I have never seen anything like what's going on today all over the world. People are dancing in the streets, not just in Israel. They're dancing in the streets of countries that would have never danced in the street about what's happening today. They're dancing in those streets. So this long and difficult war has now ended. You know, some people say 3,000 years, some people say 500 years, whatever it is. It's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel secure.
And that's such a big deal, that they're going to be putting in peacekeepers in the nation to keep people safe. That is such a critical thing. All these nations are joining together to ensure that Gaza remains free for everybody.
Security will no longer be threatened in any way, shape, or form. So Israel, with our help, has won all that they can by force of arms. You've won. I mean, you've won. Now it's time to translate these victories against terrorists on the battlefield into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity for the entire Middle East. It's about time you were able to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Trump said, "You've won. Now it's time to translate these victories against terrorists on the battlefield into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity." That is leadership. It's not managing decline, but demanding that people rise up and become great. And that's what happened today. A president who couldn't be bought, intimidated, or discouraged looked at the world's most intricate conflict and said, "Enough." And unlike every politician before him, he had the credibility to make it stick. Arab nations joined him, Israel trusted him, and peace finally won. So if you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this not only matters because peace isn't just the absence of war, it's a presence of hope. Today, mothers in Israel are sleeping knowing that their children are safe. Arab nations are choosing commerce over conflict, and the Middle East is transforming from a powder keg into a crossroads of prosperity. But here's what should terrify the establishment. Trump did this by ignoring their playbook entirely. No endless committees, no virtue signaling, and no apologies. Just American strength projected with moral clarity. He proved that when you negotiate from power instead of weakness, and when you say what you mean, and you mean what you say, miracles can happen. So here's my question to you guys. Do you believe that, lasting Middle East peace is actually possible, or will old hatreds eventually resurface? Let me know yes or no, and drop that in the comments. And this isn't about politics anymore, guys. This is about proving that the impossible is only impossible until someone with enough courage decides that it isn't. So go ahead and check out our merch shop in the description and wear your truth proudly.